Hello, I'm using this wiki to tell you something horrifying. I used to be an intern at Comedy Central back in 2015. My job was to view episodes of South Park before they were aired on TV. It wasn't until I quit my job because of something bad that happened. I will not tell you my name because I'm scared to blurt it out. When I turned 20, I needed to save some money, so I decided to work at a television company. And the place I was at was Comedy Central. One day I was talking to the creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, about a TV series I was going. But they managed to tell me that they had a lost episode and when they asked me to view it, so I said yes. They handed me the DVD and I inserted it in the DVD player. The DVD was slightly different. There was blood-covered text that said, "Stay tuned for a special presentation after the movie." Also, there was a dark and quiet reading text, so I could barely see the teeth behind the words. While staring at it, Matt Stone and Trey Parker came in, claiming that there was something possibly going to give me a seizure. I had no idea what they were talking about, so we started watching it together. The Paramount feature presentation logo came on, but the quality was terrible, and the audio was in G major. Significantly, the colors were different, and when it ended, there was a dark red text saying, "I am God." After that, it showed not the normal version of the THX logo. It just zoomed in. Trey Parker told me to look away. He did not want me to look at it. After what seemed to be 10 seconds, South Park intro came on, and it seemed like a normal episode with some scary content in it. The episode started off with Cartman, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny talking about something during recess. When Kyle looked at the sky, he saw a rocket flying into space. Kyle screamed, "Oh my god! They're getting out! We're getting out of here!" Cartman was also watched the same thing. He warned everybody to find shelter before they died. They were all watching the whole playground while the sound of a nuclear siren played. After 2 minutes, the nuclear bomb hit and South Park and all the characters appeared to be disintegrating, while Sharon Marsh, Tweak, Chef, and Mr. Garrison and Timmy. Then it cuts to the scenery of South Park being burnt down, with dead bodies of Cartman, Wendy, Stan, Kenny, Clyde, Randy, and Hetty Turner were seen. It seems that Kyle was the only survivor of the bomb attack. I could only see that Kyle had a tear in his eye as he was about to cry. I did not know what it was sad to see his friends dead and the city blown up. Kyle then went over to Cartman's house, and what he saw scared the crap out of me. Cartman's mother was dead, with her eyes bulged out. Of course, because we don't see it, yet I'm not going to say what it was. Kyle went down to the basement, and he found Stan at the table crying. I asked Matt Stone if he did the crying, but he had a memory of him doing that episode, and he claimed that he wasn't at home when the episode was made, but is never aired on TV, which meant someone hijacked the studio overnight and created it. After 3 minutes, Kyle stopped crying and he found the radio and turned it on. Not only did Kyle survive, but it looked like the news reporters were alive too. The man sounded like he was trying not to cry. The person on the radio said, "Good evening, everyone. Our TV signals are down. We are using a radio. South Park has been hardly damaged by a nuclear bomb. It seems to be that people from a certain country have dropped the bomb onto our city. And this definitely could mean the end of South Park as we all know it. More updates will come shortly." Kyle put down the radio and walked away. Then the episode cuts to the credits. It didn't play any music. It was just dead silent. Trey Parker and Matt Stone let go of me go home early after what happened. Later that night, I was asleep until I heard my cell phone going off. Who's calling me at this time of night? I asked myself. To my surprise, it was Trey Parker. He claimed that the person who made the episode was the man from another country, which was later arrested for 10 counts of murder and serious issues. I told him that I quit my job because of yesterday's problems. He said that I can quit, and to be honest, I have no interest on South Park. I would have told you my name, but that I just can't. To this day, I will never watch South Park again. You hear me? Again. I took a look back at the DVD and opened it, and the thing that was flashing was a monster of Barney the dinosaur. And that, my little pretties, was South Park Trinity, a South Park Lost episode creepypasta written by Ashley Armbruster. My final thoughts on the story? I think I kind of remembered narrating this back in 2019. I can't really exactly remember, but man, it's been quite a long time since I sat there and, narrated this. Oh my goodness. Now, this story I actually say was a decent, well-made creepypasta. Although there were a few things that I wasn't really too keen on, but with that said, I'll just go for that later. So yeah, I like how this episode was pretty well done. Like it is a pretty interesting concept. So what I really do like is that, if the South Park episode went out as normal. Like the first little bit, everything's going normal, and then all of a sudden something bad happens. And I could definitely say I haven't watched South Park in like a really long time, so yeah. I think I last saw it was back in 2017, 2016. I think that was the last time I sat there and watched it. But what happened, in this episode was like kind of reminded me of the Sesame Street, the nuclear explosion one, which I don't think I might narrate that one again, but I don't really know. Because that was a story I didn't really care for. It didn't suck or anything. It just wasn't, that great in my opinion. But this story was alright for what it was. Well, like it's a pretty decent story. Like it's not cliched. There's like no hyper realistic blood or anything like that. No, there was barely or none of that in the story. So that I could definitely say was a blessing in my case because a lot of creepypastas I've seen that have, cliches and all that, and little to no people put effort into their stories. That's the definitely very big thing that came to the story. So, yeah. I do remember, narrating this, so I think my opinion kind of changed a little bit. Like, the grammar of this story is really good, I'm not gonna lie. The grammar was pretty good along with the sentence structuring, the storyline, everything about it went out. And there was like and I will go to the update one in a bit, but there is probably one or two things that I wasn't really that keen on, and I'm just being honest. Now, for one thing, the story itself was actually really well detailed, explanatory. It's not, anybody sitting there and looking for, find a DVD and, on a mailbox on the street or store or anything like that. Like that's just usually cliche, to be completely honest. But in this matter, while it does have DVD cliche, it's just been given by somebody. It's not, you know, oh, I found a DVD with DVD on this place or something. No, it's not any of that. So I definitely have to say this is actually a pretty decent, well made South Park pasta. Now there are the two major things I could definitely say that I wasn't really crazy on. It was no, not major, but major. Like it's not a super major issue, but because it did kill the story. The certain issues I do have with it did not kill the story, but it did bring the rating down a bit. So the one thing I could definitely say was the ending that says, "I will never watch South Park again." Oh my god! Like I don't know if this was supposed to be a troll pasta or a funny pasta or whatever it was, but sitting there and say, "I will never watch this episode again." Like, really? Like, here's the thing. I don't get it why people sit there and say, "I will never watch this again" or something. Like, why is it that lost episode pastas have to sit there and, do that? I don't get it. I just really don't get it. Why people sit there and think it's a good idea to say, "I will never watch this episode again." Like, I don't know why that's the case with most creepypastas nowadays. Like, I don't know why most creepypastas, lost episode ones in general, like to sit there and do this. So, that I just don't know, to be honest. And that's one thing I could really say. If that, saying "I would never watch this episode again" was not, incorporated, then maybe the story would have been like a little bit different. The ending would have been, explaining, you know, maybe find out, who was the one who hijacked the studio and edited some stuff, and that, maybe that would be more explanatory, and that would have been more, believable to extent. Like that someone hijacked the studio, which that I could definitely say was pretty believable, but at least the ending could have been more explanatory. And another thing, the update saying I took a look back at the DVD, and on the opening, the thing that flashed was a monster version of Barney the dinosaur. Like, why incorporate that? Like, seriously, why would anybody incorporate that in it? Unless this was about Barney, maybe that might have been something, but at the same time, it did not really needed to be in it. And that's just that's just the case. At least that's just to me that is. I'm not really sure if it's to anybody's case, but that's just how I see it, at least to me. So, with that being the case, yeah, with those two issues, they're not major, but they could be, maybe done differently. The ending could have been, explained and done differently. But other than that, the story was actually a pretty decent story. Not perfect, but it was still better. Like, I'm gonna sit here and say right now that this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be a. I am going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 because it was a pretty well made done episode. It was believable and stuff. But it's just the ending, the two issues, with Barney the dinosaur, being a monster flesh, and it wasn't necessary. And I will never watch South Park again, that was not necessary as well. So I could definitely say, yeah, if those were not incorporated, then this story would have got a better, higher rating. But at least that's just to me. But other than that, the story was actually pretty interesting for what it was. It's a decent story. It's not perfect, but it's definitely something. That I'm definitely saying. It's definitely something. So with that being the case, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so then you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.